everyone! Welcome to Ida's Tailoring. In today's video, we are going to shorten a jeans, keeping the original hem by hand. Yes, by hand. And if you follow me in Downtown Tailoring, you know that I did a similar video, but I didn't need to cut this one, and I received multiple questions. What do you do if you needed to cut it? So I'm going to explain you everything. So let's go! These are the jeans that I need to shorten. As you can tell, they are children jeans, back to school. And I pin it where I need to shorten. I usually use crisscross pins, so it's more safe. I'm gonna start like I start with every hem I'm gonna do. I make sure to fold my pants by both creases, the front and the back creases, and make it very flat on my table. This is so important to have a symmetrical finish. Then I'm gonna take my chalk and mark where the hem should be. And right away, I'm gonna make a line at that height. When you make your line, you make sure that it's perpendicular to the crease at the front and at the back to produce a straight hem. Then I'm gonna cut my jeans right on the line I marked before. I'm cutting both legs together, but you can cut one by one if you like. It's just that I make sure that they will be the same this way. Immediately, I pin each hem with its leg so I don't get confused. But for sure, I'm going to take one of the legs and I'm going to start working on it. The first thing we are going to do is to remove that seam allowance. And this is why I'm making this video now, because I did a similar video, but this one I just folded and I received so many questions related if you needed to cut it or not. So let's see. It is very important to check if the hem and your leg are the same size. If the legs are bigger, you have to reduce them. If it's a boot cut and the hem is bigger, then it's another story. I'm gonna place together my hem and my leg, and I'm making sure to align the best I can the seam allowances. This is crucial to produce a job that is nice and well finished. The fact that your hem is by hand doesn't make it a bad job. What makes it a bad job is when we are sloppy. I know, I've been there. So I'm gonna use a thick thread. You can use a thin thread too, doesn't matter really. But I feel like the thicker thread will be a little stronger, and I'm gonna use it double anyways. And you are gonna start to making a knot. You see, you roll the thread around your finger and then you kind of rub it a little bit so the tips go through the loop, and then you just pull it and you have your knot. Then if you wanna make sure that your job will be easier to do, you can wax that thread. You just pass it through the wax, and then you are going to your iron and give it a quick iron so the wax melt inside the thread fibers. And here we go. You see, it's a little bit stiffer and more comfortable to work with. Now I'm going to start working. I'm going to insert my needle from the back to the front. Don't try to go too fast. And I'm going to take my needle again, and instead of going forward, I'm going to go a little bit back and insert my needle, and then I'm going to pull it forward, but forward than the first stitch. And then I'm going to start again inserting my stitch back where the last stitch finished, and then I'm going to go forward. And so on. This is what we call the back stitch. At the right side, you will see like sewing machine stitches, while at the wrong side, you will see more longer stitches. This stitcher is very good to sew by hand because it's super strong. Let me show you with this sample how to do it, just in case it's not clear. You insert the needle, you go back and then pull it out a little forward, and now you are gonna go back again and forward. You see, the trick is to leave around the same amount of distance each time, and your stitch will look very nice. But anyways, if it doesn't look nice, it's okay because it will be very strong for sure. This is how it looks, you see? Very cute. Now I'm going back to my hem to sew around, and as you can see, it will be very important to sew as close as possible to the edge of the hem. You keep going, and when you arrive to the side seam where you have so much bulkiness, make sure to stop just once at the time the fabric. That way the fabric won't displace and your finish will be better. This part is the most tricky one, but try to keep the pins in place as long as you can. As soon as I finish this part, I'm gonna check if it's okay. And as you can see, it's not. It isn't horrible, but it isn't right too. So I'm gonna just go back and open that seam again. You need about 1.5 inches before the seam so you can accommodate better the fabric. And as you can see, this is a very strong stitch, huh? It takes a little effort to open it. Now that it's open, I'm gonna try to accommodate again the fabric and the pants and the hem. I'm checking because I want to make sure to align well those seams. And I'm gonna pin it again, and let's hope that this time will be okay. So I'm gonna start stitching about 3/8 of the inch where I finish. So, I'm overlapping a little bit the stitches just to make sure that they won't open again. And I'm gonna try to be a little bit more careful this time. The trick is to try to insert the needle perpendicular to the fabric to not displace it at all. And this time was good. So I can keep sewing. As I said before, make sure to sew very close to the edge of the hem. If you want to support my channel, please give us a like. Now I'm arriving to the second seam. I call them the corners. And I'm trying to be very careful as well this time. Although this seam is a little bit easier and less bulky than the other. I went all around, so the first part of my job is done. And I just have to make a knot and finish that seam. So this is how it looks in one side, and then at the other side you know how it looks. So the thing here is that we don't have a serger because we are doing everything by hand, but we cannot leave that seam like that because it will unravel. So we are gonna make a serger stitch. I think it's called as well blanket stitch. And for this stitch we need to have the thread double. So I'm gonna thread my needle and I'm gonna make a knot, making sure that the thread is double. That's very important this time. And I'm gonna start by inserting my needle from the back to the front, and then I'm gonna go forward. I chose the right this time. It's easier for me. And I'm gonna insert the needle, leaving a kind of small loop there because I'm gonna insert my needle through that loop and pull the thread out. This way I make sure to position the thread on top so I can make the stitch. And the stitch is like that. I'm gonna go forward again from the right side of the fabric to the wrong side, and I'm gonna pull a little bit the thread, but before that I'm gonna make sure to insert the needle in between these two threads and pull it, and I create my first triangle, and then I keep doing that. Insert the needle through the fabric, then in between the two threads and pull it, another triangle. Insert the needle through the fabric, then I'm going to insert it in between the two threads and then pull it, and so on. I keep doing that all around. Long time I don't do that stitch. I thought that I couldn't remember, but when you learn as a child, you can do it. So in one side you see like a kind of triangle, and then at the other side you see a kind of sticks. And this is very nice finished stitch because it's not thick at all, and it really protects your fabric from unraveling. And this is what I have until now. And one last step. I'm gonna try to find a thread that is exactly the same color as the jeans. I think this one is a little better than the other, but both of them are very good. This one I like it because it's kind of a jeans thread, it has the different blends of colors that usually the jeans have. Not always, not all the jeans, but a lot of them. So I'm gonna thread my needle, and if you don't have wax, let me show you another thing you can do. You can pull the thread very strongly, all the thread, and that will stabilize as well your thread, and it will be way easier to sew. So let me show you what we are going to do with this one. I'm going to insert my needle from the wrong side to the right side of the fabric and see, and I want you to pay attention to the grain of the material. See? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to insert my needle but following the grain of the material like that. Like we're going to do a stitch of about less than 1/8 of the inch, maybe 1/16 or so, and watch the thread disappear into your eyes. Did you see? No, you don't see it, because this is the trick. If you follow the grain of the material, you will be all okay. So you are going to follow the grain when you sew at the top, and then you are gonna create the length of the stitch at the bottom part. And you are going to repeat that all around, and that will stabilize the hem, and it will be all nice, and it will last so long, like it won't break. I myself have jeans made like that because I always like to experiment, even if I can do it with my machine and everything. My jean is done, and my last step is to go to the ironing and make sure to crease well this folded part at the end with it, so it will look amazing. Then you are gonna do the other leg, and here you go. These are my jeans. You don't see anything on top, you just see the original hem, and it was easy to do, and you can wear your jeans well fitted. As you can see, at the top part you don't see anything at all, and inside you will have the seam allowance exposed with a nice serger finish. If you find this video useful or entertaining, please give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe, share, comment. Bye!